So if you have your own active channel on YouTube, you'll know what I mean when I say this, but there comes a point in every channel's life where they need to expand, whether it be through making Let's Plays, reviews, commentaries, news segments, playing other types of games, or in my case, getting new equipment. With Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate releasing in just a couple weeks, and no console version in sight, I've had no choice but to look into getting a 3DS capture card. Now I'll start this off by saying there are only a few people in the world that sell these devices, and every single one of them involves you sending boatloads of cash to some person that you've never met. Those people are Katsukity from 3dsvideocapture.com, Loopy from 3dscapture.com, and if you're in Europe, your only option is a website called murky.net. I don't know anything about Murky though. So I went with Katsukity for a few reasons. So this video will mostly be about my experience with them, their ordering process, the physical product itself, and the software. After doing some research, I decided to go with Katsukity for a few reasons. One, they are the only company as of right now, in January 2015, that makes 3DS XL capture cards. The other main capture card manufacturer, Loopy, who is located in the United States, currently only does regular 3DSs, but he is working on an XL board, but that's a topic for another time. I've heard both good and bad things about both manufacturers, but the driving factor in choosing Katsukity for me was the 3DS XL. That's what I have, and that's why I went with Katsukity. Katsukity is based in Japan, but their support team was very, very quick and professional in answering my questions, which was just really a pleasant experience. They never seemed annoyed with me, even if I was asking very stupid questions or if I didn't understand something on their FAQ. As for the actual ordering, there were several options. I could order a brand new 3DS XL from them and have it shipped right to my house, capture card installed from the get-go. Unfortunately, this cost about $500, which is more than twice the price of a regular 3DS. The other option is to send your 3DS XL to them in Japan, and they'll install the capture board and send it back to you. I opted for this because it was cheaper, at around $240, plus the $30 shipping costs, and some other unexpected fees. If you plan on using the CirclePad Pro, as I do, it'll cost you an extra $20 to preserve the IR port that the CirclePad Pro uses, a dumb but necessary fee that you'll have to consider. Other than that, the ordering process was very smooth. I received the form on where to ship everything instantly, and our support team was still helping me all this time. To order it, you'll have to ship it through your local UPS or FedEx store. Make sure you take out your battery because it's illegal to ship a 3DS with a battery inside of it, to Japan at least, and whatever you do, be prepared to spend an arm and a leg on shipping it to Japan. For me personally, I packed my beloved 3DS XL in a little padded envelope that was about, the size of a piece of paper, 8 by 12 inches. Guess how much it cost me? No, seriously. Go down in the comments right now and type your guess. It cost me $102 to ship this thing to Japan. It weighed 0.7 pounds, was the size of a piece of paper, and it cost me over $100 to ship. That's just freaking, it blows my mind. And better yet, Katsukity said that you could tell the UPS people to bill on delivery, but of course my UPS store doesn't support that, so instead I'm left footing the bill. But again, I was willing to do whatever it took to get my precious 3DS to Japan safely, so I just paid it and shipped off my 3DS. Luckily, Katsukity reimburses the shipping charges up to $30, so technically this only cost me $72 to ship. There was also a note in an email from Katsukity to declare the package as less than $10. I guess this is to avoid an import tax for him. I don't know, but that was kind of fishy. I wasn't sure what to think of that. There was also a lot of paperwork for sending a package internationally. Fortunately, nothing went wrong, and the money I spent meant that my 3DS arrived in Japan in about 3 days. Honestly, the hardest part was just waiting for everything. I was constantly tracking my package because I'm paranoid like that. Refreshing the UPS page so many times isn't good for your sanity, and then other people might start to judge you. But really though, the turnaround time for Katsukity, my 3DS departed on a Monday. I had it back in my hands the next Monday. Katsukity was done with my 3DS in 1 day. He got on a Thursday evening and shipped it out Friday morning via 3-day air. Props to them for getting it back to me so fast. This is what my 3DS looks like now. If it looks any different, I can't tell. The only difference, as far as I can tell, is this port on the back here. Since I chose to preserve the IR port, they took out the charging port and replaced it with USB. That's right, the 3DS now charges through USB, and this is also how it connects to your PC. In terms of build, it doesn't feel any heavier, and the entire capture card is internal. Other capture cards are bulky and may not fit with some accessories. That is not the case with Katsukity. I did receive a note saying that you should be careful with the USB plug and port on the 3DS because it can be damaged easily. That's not something I'd like to hear, but I haven't experienced any problems yet. As I said before, it connects to the PC through a mini USB cable. This is included with the 3DS. Installing the software is easy enough. Katsukity gives you a link for downloading the software and the appropriate drivers, as well as some basic troubleshooting tips. After installing the drivers, plugging in your 3DS, launching the software, you aren't quite done. Perhaps the most finicky part of the setup is the configuration. The software has lots and lots of options, but not very many explanations. I actually ran into some issues where I had plugged my 3DS into a USB 3.0 port and it wouldn't run smoothly. But I switched over to a USB 2.0 and it works absolutely flawlessly now, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. You probably have to mess around with the calibration settings, which I still don't understand in the slightest. Take a look at this menu, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I change the values and sometimes the screen will just go straight crazy or stop working altogether, and other times there is literally no difference. I don't know, it's just really strange. All in all though, the calibration isn't too hard to set up. I'm sure what you're really wondering is, what about the image quality? Well, let me ask you this. What happens when you take and play N64 games or PS1 games or one of those really old consoles and you hook it up to a really nice LCD TV? It looks really crappy. That's mostly the problem with the 3DS Capture. Does it look bad when it's the proper resolution? No, it looks great actually, but stretched out to 1080p or even 720p and you'll find that it looks like a mess. This is part of the reason why I'm using these overlays. It's important to keep the screens as small as possible so it doesn't look so overblown. But I'm dancing around the question actually. The quality isn't terrible when it's not scaled to hell. In fact, I really like the viewer program and how it works really well with all these different options. All of the different options for displaying the screens, and you can even separate them and scale them individually, are really handy, especially for these overlays. The capture works perfectly in XSplit, which is how I record it now. And there are some basic filters that you can use to reduce the jaggies. See what I did there? It's pretty funny. And to top it all off, there's very little latency between what you see on the screen and on the 3DS. You can basically play your 3DS on the computer monitor if you wanted to. There's even a USB sound capture, which is just freaking awesome. I've heard people say that it's kind of crappy, but honestly, I think it sounds great. I play with the sound coming through my headset, and the distortion is really minimal. One thing that did surprise me, though, is there's definitely some sort of key code that you need to even begin the capture from your device. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's a capture card, not a digital product, so it's kind of unnecessary to have this DRM stuff on the software. But it's just entirely unnecessary. But I haven't really had any problems with it. Overall, I am extremely satisfied with the capture card from Katsukity. The worst part was definitely the whole shipping process for both the extra charges and the pressure of shipping internationally. Despite the shipping charges, turnaround times were absolutely insane and the customer service was excellent. The build is solid, and it's hard to even notice the difference between an unmodded 3DS and a 3DS with a capture card from Katsukity in it. The capture quality is okay, as you can see, but it would definitely look better in games that aren't entirely 3D. Maybe it would look better in Pokemon, I don't know, I'll have to do some experiments. I do like the software though, it provides a lot of different options, even if some of them are kind of ambiguous. The main problem with this capture card is the price. It's very expensive, and depending on how old you are, it might be a challenge to acquire the funds. You could basically count on it costing a minimum of $300, and that's if you send your 3DS to Japan. If you purchase a new 3DS XL, it'll cost you $500. Like minimum $500. So if you're serious about capturing 3DS footage, Katsukity is a great option, but just be aware that it is a very large investment. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis of Katsukity's 3DS XL capture card. If I ever run into any problems, God forbid, I will update the video accordingly. If this was helpful, please tap that subscribe button and check out some of my 3DS videos. Thank you for watching.